My name is Claire Johnson. I live in Portland, Oregon with my daughter Lily. Life hasn't always been easy, but over the years I've built a stable home for the two of us. I work as a nurse at a local hospital, and my days are filled with routines, caring for patients, coming home exhausted, making simple dinners, and helping Lily with her school projects. For the longest time, I thought this was all I would ever need. But then, a person entered my life unexpectedly, someone I thought I was just helping. And as fate would have it, helping him turned into something far more complicated, something that pulled at my heart in ways I hadn't anticipated. This is my story of how I tried to do the right thing, but my heart had other plans. It all began on a rainy evening in late October. I was driving home from my shift, the windshield wipers struggling to keep up with the downpour, when I saw a young man sitting on the curb near a coffee shop. He looked drenched, holding a small backpack, staring at the ground like he had nowhere to go. Something about him tugged at me. Maybe it was the way his shoulders slumped, or the fact that everyone else walked past him as if he were invisible. I pulled over, rolled down my window, and called out, "Hey, are you okay? Do you need a ride somewhere?" He looked up, startled, then shook his head. "No, ma'am. I'm fine." But he didn't look fine. His lips were pale from the cold, and his shoes were soaked through. Against my better judgment, I parked, grabbed my umbrella, and walked over. "My name's Claire," I said, trying to sound reassuring. "You look like you could use a warm meal." After a pause, he sighed. "I'm Jason. I just had a bad day. That's all." One thing led to another, and soon Jason was sitting across from me inside the small coffee shop. I bought him soup and bread, and slowly, he began to open up. He was 22, recently moved to Portland from Idaho to pursue an apprenticeship in carpentry, but things hadn't worked out. The company let him go, and he couldn't afford rent. He'd been sleeping on couches when possible, but tonight he had nowhere to go. As I listened, my heart ached. He reminded me of my younger brother, Michael, who had passed away years ago. Maybe that was why I felt such a pull to help Jason, like somehow I was being given a second chance to care for someone in need. "Jason," I said gently, "you can't stay out here in the cold. At least come to my house tonight. I have a spare room." He hesitated, clearly torn between pride and desperation. But eventually, he nodded. "Okay, just for tonight." What was meant to be one night turned into several. Jason was polite, quiet, and always offered to help around the house. He fixed a leaky faucet, repaired Lily's broken bookshelf, and even cooked dinner a few times. Lily adored him instantly. At 14, she saw Jason as the cool older brother she never had. He made her laugh, helped her with math homework, and even taught her how to sand wood for a small project in the garage. Watching them together warmed my heart. I told myself I was only helping Jason get back on his feet. But deep down, I could feel something else growing, something I tried to ignore. Weeks passed, and Jason started picking up small jobs here and there. But each evening, he came home to our house, where dinner was waiting, and conversations flowed easily. One night, as we washed dishes side by side, he said softly, "Claire, I don't know how to thank you. You barely know me, but you've done more for me than most people ever have." I smiled, brushing it off. Everyone deserves a little help when they're down. Someday you'll do the same for someone else. But when I looked at him, I realized it wasn't just gratitude I saw in his eyes. It was trust, respect, and something unspoken. My heart skipped, and I quickly looked away. I wrestled with my feelings. Jason was younger, still figuring out his life, while I was a single mother with responsibilities. It would be foolish, irresponsible, to let my heart wander in that direction. Yet, no matter how much I tried to rationalize, I couldn't ignore how he made me feel. He brought laughter back into my house. He made me feel seen, not just as a mom or a nurse, but as Claire, the woman I had almost forgotten existed. One evening in December, we decorated the Christmas tree together. Lily hung ornaments while Jason strung the lights. When the tree was done, we stepped back to admire it, the glow of the lights filling the room with warmth. "Looks perfect," Jason said. "Yeah," I whispered, though my gaze wasn't on the tree. It was on him. Our eyes met, and for a moment, the world fell silent. My heart pounded. I wanted to step away, to remind myself of all the reasons this was wrong. But instead, I felt myself falling deeper. That was the night I realized I didn't just want to help Jason. My heart wanted more. I knew I had to make a choice. Either continue down a path that might confuse Lily and complicate all our lives, or set boundaries before things went too far. The next morning, I sat Jason down. "Jason," I said firmly, "I care about you. You've become like family to us. But I need to be honest. My heart, it's getting confused. And I don't want to hurt you, or Lily, or myself." He listened quietly, then nodded. "I understand. Claire, you've been more than kind. I'll start looking for my own place." His maturity stunned me. It hurt, but it was also the right thing. In January, Jason moved into a small apartment across town. We still saw him often. He visited for dinners, came to Lily's school events, and even called me for advice about jobs. Our bond remained, but it settled into something healthy, respectful, supportive, and rooted in gratitude rather than confusion. Over time, I realized that helping Jason wasn't just about giving him shelter. It was about helping myself too. He reminded me that my heart was still alive, still capable of feeling, even after years of shutting it away. And maybe someday when the time was right, I could open it fully again. I wanted to help him. That was my intention. But my heart had other plans, reminding me that love, in all its forms, can surprise us when we least expect it. Jason came into my life when I least expected it, and though we didn't end up in the way my heart briefly imagined, he gave me something far more valuable: hope. And sometimes, that's the greatest gift of all.